Banjo and other occupants of the helicopter that crash-landed in Kaba. The Vice President, while appreciating God for a divine protection upon their lives, said he decided to save their lives in order for them to continue with the good work the President and himself have started in the country.
He is the deliverer. He is the one who can do all things. And the mighty deliverance that he wrought, only he can take the glory. No other man can take that glory. No, nothing else can take that glory. The glory belongs to the Almighty God.
He called on Nigerians not to lose faith in God, but to pray for a peaceful election in Nigeria, as well as victory for APC. Others who spoke, including the Minister of State for Labour, Stephen Ocheni, who also survived the incident, Speaker, Kogi State House of Assembly, Matthew Kolawole, and other top government officials appreciated God for averting death from the incident. The regional pastor redeemed headquarters in Lokoja, Dele Olowokere, prayed for the Vice President and his entourage for God's mercy upon them and for smooth conduct of the February election in the country. In Lokoja, Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the tenacious spirit displayed by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, after he survived the helicopter crash in Kaba, Kogi State. Reacting to the incident in a telephone conversation with the Vice President, President Buhari praised the Almighty God for sparing his life. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari said he is impressed by the tenacious spirit which enabled him continue on the campaign engagement, despite the shock of the crash. He said, "I am proud of our partnership and your unalloyed loyalty and commitment to the service of Nigeria." That the Vice President proceeded with his engagements despite the accident is a testimony of his passion for service of the country and a reflection of his admirable spiritual fervor, the President said. President Buhari prayed God's continuous protection for the Vice President and all those on board with him, bless their lives and grant them more good health and long life to serve the country. Meanwhile, Caverton Helicopters Management says an Augusta AW139 helicopter involved in a mishap on landing in Kaba, Kogi State around 3 in the afternoon on February the 2nd, 2019 was as a result of unusual weather conditions. A statement by the Managing Director of Caverton, Captain Josiah Chom, says there was no injuries to the passengers or crew on board. The statement further says that the relevant authorities have been duly informed and investigation into the incident has commenced. Meanwhile, leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, says it is grateful to God and rejoices with the federal government and the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for surviving the helicopter crash in Kaba, Kogi State. The association prays that God will continue to watch over him and other top government functionaries. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has assured the people of Ado-Odo in Ado-Odo Ota local government area of Ogun State of the reconstruction of all federal roads in the area. The Vice President gave the assurance while speaking at the Cultural Day program of the town. Professor Osinbajo, who announced that the President Muhammadu Buhari administration would focus on power generation, job creation and empowerment of artisans when re-elected. He advised the people of the area to continue to keep faith with the All Progressives Congress. Professor Osinbajo also told the people of Ado-Odo Ota that the APC government in Ogun State, when re-elected, will meet their expectations, including health facilities and tertiary institutions. And away from that, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema is leading a mobilization campaign for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari across the 17 local government areas of Enugu State. Makut Simon Macham reports that the grassroots mobilization kicked off in 3 local government councils where the APC was assured of votes.
This grassroots campaign targeting 17 local government areas of Enugu State is holding under the Kusike political movement led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama. The aim is to consolidate support for President Muhammadu Buhari and the APC ahead of the elections, where the party hopes to win big at all levels. Day 1 of the campaign tour saw the team visiting Abuja South, Abuja North, and Udeni local governments, where party members gave assurances.
Buhari is for us. He is for the poor people.
For realignment of Igbo man into the mainstream of politics of Nigeria. That's the reason why we are following Buhari.
Foreign Affairs Minister Jeffrey Onyama says the Kusike political movement is determined to dispel all negative propaganda against President Muhammadu Buhari and stress the need to re-elect him and other candidates of the party.
It is important to vote for Muhammadu Buhari for another 4 years. If not, we will suffer and Nigeria will go back.
The minister also uses the tour to call for more unity among members of the APC family in Enugu State. From Enugu, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
And as the collection of permanent voters' cards end on Friday this week, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has assured all those who registered that they will get their PVCs and be civil at the collection points. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu gave the assurance in an interview with Mie Ogidi in Abuja.
Daring to restore and protect the sanctity of the electoral process in a plural society like Nigeria, coupled with the practice of multi-party system, where mutual suspicion among political actors is the order of the day, he who captains the ship of the INEC must be ready to address all shades of opinion.
Anyone who cannot stand criticism and is chairman of INEC is in the wrong job, and I don't believe I'm in the wrong job.
Professor Mahmood Yakubu foresaw all this. But this integrity test can only be proven if the actions of the Commission are carried out in favor of the law. Maintaining this unbiased status comes with the inputs of all strata of staff, bearing in mind that there are always bad eggs among. So, how proactive is the leadership of the Commission?
The bulk of ad hoc staff will be drawn from the NYSC. They have addresses, they are serving the nation, and so there is a way we can deal with violations easily. For the other categories of ad hoc staff, they are also students of tertiary institutions. They have addresses. We can reach out to the universities. If there are violations, we'll deal with the violations. But we expect the highest standard of neutrality and professionalism on the part of our staff and all other staff involved in election duty.
However, the efforts by the INEC to deliver credible polls also depends on the participation of the electorate. That is, if they are equipped with their permanent voters card. And by Friday this week, the collection of the permanent voters card will end, and the expected last-minute rush in situations like this is obvious.
Everybody is collecting his own sharp, no delaying.
Do you know that people that applied for PVC February, they were told that it's not yet ready?
Because we printed over 14 million cards, some of the new registrants complained that their cards were not available, even though their names are on the voters register. We made contingency arrangements in case there are citizens in that category to speedily print the cards and make them available for collection before February the 8th.
Both parties, that is INEC and the electorate, are ready to rub each other's back. And by next week, INEC will declare the number of uncollected PVCs, if any. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
As the 2019 general elections draw closer, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, brings on stream a comprehensive pre-election program called The Ballot. The Ballot will x-ray critical issues pertaining to the polls and features no-holds-barred interviews with key players involved in the process. The pilot debuts today, February 4th, and airs at 5 minutes past 10 and 10:30 in the evening daily. Join us as we speak to the election umpire ANEC boss, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, on the maiden edition. And the Code of Conduct Tribunal has ordered Justice Walter Onoge to appear before it on Wednesday, 13th of February, when the tribunal will again resume sitting. Chairman of the tribunal, Danladi Umar, issued the order while adjourning sitting after Monday's proceeding could not hold. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo reports.
For the third time running now, the Code of Conduct Tribunal has sat expecting to take 3 motions, 1 from the defense challenging its jurisdiction and 2 from the prosecution, which may have been said to have been overtaken by time. But on Monday, these 3 motions were yet again not taken. However, the proceedings of Monday show the direction which this tribunal may be going with this matter in the next days to come. Although there was a pending motion for the defendants to move, Justice Walter Onoge's lawyers, led by the Agbo-industry Women Law SAN, brought the attention of the tribunal to the petition which he said the Attorney General of the Federation had forwarded to the National Judicial Council. He said since the content of the petition was the same as that which had brought them before the tribunal, he suggested that the tribunal should grant an adjournment to allow for the NJC carry out its statutory responsibility in the matter. Counsel to the complainant, Aliu Umar SAN, did not oppose the application for adjournment, even though he objected to the reasons given. But chairman of the tribunal was not in the mood for any adjournment. His position brought about a heated argument between him and the defense, who thought that the chairman had jumped into the arena and was not in a position to deny 2 agreeing parties an adjournment. This was later resolved after a stand down, but not without a stern warning from the tribunal that another absence by the defendant will not be tolerated on the next adjourned date.
If he is absent again, I will ask for the appropriate order. I'm not happy that he is not appearing. And by his position, he is a person who should obey the summons of the court of law.
We are in a place where law regulates and guides all human affairs. We are here because the law says we should come here.
Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal, too, has adjourned its sitting in the Onogen's case to the 12th of February to allow for the consolidation of the 3 appeals before it.
We needed the 3 appeals to be taken together so that we will not waste precious judicial time, because this is a matter of utmost national urgency.
In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
Let's now go over to Lagos, where Hingino has details of stories trending in that zone.
Welcome to Lagos. Broadcast media organizations.
We seem to be having issues. We'll get back to you once we rectify it, Hingino. Moving on now, Nigeria joins the globe to mark World Cancer Day with focus on how to address lack of access to cancer diagnostics, treatment and palliative care. Chidinma Undubisi reports that this year's theme is I Am and I Will. We'll bring you that report in the course of the bulletin. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has delivered relief materials worth millions of naira to internally displaced persons in 6 local government areas of Zamfara State as part of sustainable solutions to their plight. Jamilu Ibrahim Gusso reports.
Number of IDPs as a result of armed bandits' attack on communities across Zamfara State. It has become incumbent upon the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons to periodically assess their condition and extend its humanitarian assistance to them with a view to alleviating their suffering. Federal Commissioner in charge of the Commission, Hajar Sadiya Umar Faruk, was in Zurmi, Birnin Magaji, Shinkafi, Maradun, Bungudu and Safi local government areas of the state to flag up the distribution of another batch of the relief materials to the IDPs there. The items include assorted foodstuffs, utensils, detergents, clothing materials, beddings, and medicaments, among other things. Hajar Sadia Farouk, who reveals that more batches of the relief materials will soon be delivered to other affected local government areas of the state, says the Commission is committed to providing durable solution to the plight of the IDPs.
Our main plan is for durable solutions. That is for us to support them to be on their feet, for us to empower them economically so that they can be economically self-reliant and be able to take care of themselves and their families.
The beneficiaries, who are full of gratitude to the federal government for the assistance, prayed for the restoration of a lasting peace in the state.
And from the narration made on the items provided, we are sure they will go a long way into alleviating the suffering of our people. We are really very grateful.
The Federal Commissioner was earlier at the palaces of the royal fathers and the areas, where she extended President Muhammadu Buhari's sympathy over the prevailing security challenges in their domains and assured them of the federal government commitment to addressing the problems, expressing optimism that the IDPs will return to their homes soonest. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Well, I understand we have better connection with Hingino now in Lagos. So it's over to you, Hingino.
Thank you, Ogwa, and welcome to Lagos. Broadcast media organizations have been charged to exhibit professionalism and high ethical standards in the coverage of the 2019 general elections. Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission and other resource persons met their appeal at a 2-day training workshop for broadcast media in Lagos.
We are the venue of the National Broadcasting Commission training workshop for broadcast organizations in the southwestern part of the country. Let's hear from the organizers and some resource persons.
The sanctionings are not arbitrary. Sanctioning is on the basis of what has been given to us by the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. As you know, the code is not an NBC instrument per se, it's an industry instrument.
Sometimes they do these things not because they want to, but because their owners want them to do it. And because their media organizations for economic gains insist that they do it. And you find them breaking the regulations.
A lot of effort should go into educating, the politicians as well as government itself to understand the rules and regulations of politics so that broadcasters like us, government-owned, would have a better environment.
Interpretation of speeches, of words, of even the dress we wear could lead to a lot of problems. So broadcasters must be very conscious of that.
It is back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Paul. The All Progressives Congress APC gubernatorial candidate Babajide Sanwo-Olu has assured Edo indigents in Lagos of inclusive governance if elected in the 2019 elections. Sanwo-Olu gave this assurance at a town hall meeting in Lagos with Edo indigents. Diana Adjale compiled this report.
Edo indigents under the aegis of Iviedo Nereko, a socio-political group, turned out in their numbers at this town hall meeting. The purpose, they say, is to pledge their support for the Lagos State APC governorship candidate and negotiate a better and new deal for Edo indigents in Lagos State. The convener, Erie Aimiewawu, stressed that the relationship between Edo and Lagos is cordial and mutually beneficial. It described the APC gubernatorial candidate as a dedicated Christian and a man of the people.
Through him, we can have our voices heard. And also, in return for having our voices heard, our people will also decide to work, to support, and to ensure that indeed he also emerges as governor.
The APC governorship candidate, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, promised Edos and Lagosians in general that his government will not only invest in human capital, but also revamp quality healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Other prioritized areas, according to him, increased constant power supply, traffic management, and vocational training are his key focus.
For them to see the need for them to join our government, believe in our programs, and let's together make Lagos greater and better.
The program had in attendance traditional rulers who endorsed the APC candidate.
Accountants have been charged to exhibit high level of integrity in their professional dealings so as to build confidence of the public while promoting economic development. Renowned financial accounting scholar Professor Onofowokun Oluyombo gave the charge during the 9th inaugural lecture of the Pan-Atlantic University in Lagos.
Accounting and financial professionals are daily confronted with situations that put to test their moral and ethical principles. Having lectured on financial accounting for 25 years, Professor Onofowokun Oluyombo explained that the inaugural lecture titled The Accounting Profession, Throw Back, Throw In and Throw Out is another opportunity to dissect and simplify financial accounting for the benefit of students and professionals.
The summary of the lecture is that we should avoid dichotomy in the accounting profession. There should be no reason why we separate accounting from auditing, auditing from taxation and other areas of accounting. Otherwise, there will be no synergy. There will be no synergy, and that's the basic thing that we throw in, we throw out, and become one as a solid family.
Vice Chancellor of Pan-Atlantic University, Professor Joan Elegido, described the lecture as a worthwhile effort.
He concentrated in explaining to us the main areas he has researched during his life, explaining his academic path from beginning to end.
I learned that you should always have a goal in life, because like once you set a goal, you'll be able to make ways to achieve it.
I never knew that aspect of Professor Oluyombo's life, but it sparked something in me to be more determined, to just let go of some certain trivialities and focus more on what's really important in life.
His story is quite encouraging because he started from small but he grew. So we shouldn't despise little beginnings. So that's basically what I picked from his whole story.
The lecture chronicles Professor Oluyombo's encounter with accounting in the early stage of his life, his journey into the accounting profession, and his professional as well as academic contributions. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Thank you, Jen. You are still watching Nationwide. We now take a break. The news continues shortly.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Mass Medical Mission MMM is offering free services on a wide range of medical issues. Take advantage of these offers, especially by availing yourself of the National Cancer Prevention Program NCPP. You can do so by coming for our Wellness Wednesday program at 31 Bode Thomas Street, Surulere, Lagos every Wednesday from 7 a.m. You also have the opportunity of seeing the specialist and getting expert opinion on any health issues that may have been bothering you. Are you preparing to get married to your sweetheart? Then we have a pre-marital health program that will help you ensure that you start your married life on a healthy footing. Very important health screening and counseling will be made available for you and your partner. You can avail yourself of this opportunity by attending our pre-wedding Wednesday program from 7 a.m. For inquiries, send a mail to info@pinkcruise.org or log on to www.pinkcruise.org or call 0805-633-4288. Mission Pink Cruise, taking wellness to all.
welcome back to Nationwide. The Nigerian Army is adopting web-based technologies to monitor the operating environment, especially the 2019 general elections. The Chief of Army Staff, General Tuku Buratai, announced this at the opening of an operations conference for commanders. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
Commanders are veritable tools in the efforts of the Nigerian Army to effectively secure the nation through its ongoing operations. At present, the Army is coordinating different internal security operations in about 27 states of the Federation. It is in view of this that field commanders and general officer commanding are assembled to review operations, deliberate on developing appropriate tactics and strategy to address emerging security threats in different geopolitical zones, and discuss how the Army can aptly support the 2019 general elections.
All Nigerian Army personnel must remain neutral, non-partisan, and transparent in all their actions. We will all recall some of the events of the 2015 general elections, which subsequently led to the sad exit of some fine officers who were found culpable.
The Army Chief used the occasion to commend President Muhammadu Buhari for the recent emergency procurement of 250 motorcycles, 147 operational vehicles, and different categories of gun trucks. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And Sokoto is our next stop on Nationwide, with Sadia to guide us through reports from that zone.
Thank you, Ogwa. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. As 2019 general election approaches, National Orientation Agency in Kebbi State has intensified voter education for the success of the exercise. Nuratan Kwokili is live at the State National Orientation Agency office and tells us more on the level of awareness campaign.
Previous elections in Nigeria have recorded high rate of invalid votes. This is occasioned by the inability of eligible voters to cast their votes correctly. And the National Orientation Agency is saddled with the responsibility of engaging stakeholders towards containing this menace. And in Kebbi State, this event is taking place. And I have with me the State Director of the National Orientation Agency, Kebbi State, Mr. Joseph Yaro Machika. Sir, this exercise, what will you say are the inputs or inputs of this particular exercise?
So, the National Orientation Agency, which is saddled with the responsibility of sensitizing Nigerians on policies and programs of government, we're having a program today to educate electorates on the need to vote correctly, devoid of invalidity, because from the past experiences, especially the last election, we had a lot of invalid votes due to ignorance of how people vote correctly. So we having this program across the Northwestern Senatorial Zone, whereby we educate people how to vote correctly, devoid of invalidity.
Engaging traditional institutions in taking this action will take the message to the grassroots, because high number of these invalid votes are recorded at the rural areas. Back to the
Zamfara State Office of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency has embarked on rehabilitation of Gusau-Talata-Mafara Sokoto State Border Road to ensure free movement of traffic. The work, which is being executed through direct labor, involves patching of potholes within a span of over 30 kilometers. Haliru Muhammad Umar has more.
The 139-kilometer Gusau-Talata-Mafara Sokoto State Border Highway is one of the several federal roads in Zamfara State that has potholes which have become serious threat to motorists. The ever-busy road is, however, currently under rehabilitation, as the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has embarked on emergency repair of the existing potholes for safer movement of people and goods. Some motorists plying the road commended the federal government for the intervention, stressing that it has brought instant relief.
I'm seeing the effort of farmers. Yeah. They are doing well.
I congratulate the President, Muhammadu Buhari, for paying attention to this road. He needs to do more. There has to be budgetary allocation for maintenance.
Yeah. FEMA is determined to repair all existing federal roads in the state to improve the socio-economic well-being of the people and ensure their safety.
I believe that the government will put a lot attention to the road and pay more money or funding to ensure that the road is pothole-free.
According to FEMA, contracts have been awarded for the rehabilitation of other roads across the state. In Gusau, Halliru Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
Border Community Development Agency has empowered inhabitants of 7 villages in Tambuwal local government area of Sokoto State. The beneficiaries were provided livestock and other items. Sheikh Muhammad Detti reports.
The Border Communities Development Agency was established by the federal government to develop border communities through implementation of planned and sustainable projects. The beneficiaries of a recent project are Gambu, Mekade, Badose, Dolio, Kwakwato, Samma, and Danya villages in Tambuwal local government. The items distributed include herds of camels, goats, grinding machines, motorcycles, vulcanizing machines, as well as torchlights and whistle for the vigilante groups in the communities. The empowerment program is part of the statutory responsibility of the agency towards reducing redundancy and criminal activities. Villager of Gambu, one of the benefiting communities, Alhaji Hussein Dukon Gambu, commended the federal government for the empowerment program, assuring of judicial utilization of the items. The Border Communities Development Agency has also concluded arrangements to establish 2 primary schools in Tambuwal and other local government areas. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
That's all from this end. It's now back to Ogwa in Abuja for more news.
Thank you, Sadia. Nigerians have continued to commend the present government's commitment in improving healthcare delivery across the country. This was from a group of women in Abuja who stressed the importance of this in achieving universal health coverage as they donate medical items to some health centers. Talatu Ezirike tells us more.
Health, they say, is wealth, and quality health care is the desire of all. This, analysts say, was a challenge bedeviling the sector, as stories such as poor or non-functional primary health care centers was the order of the day. That development, no doubt, affecting people, especially in rural areas, not to have access to such basic necessity of life, thereby slowing down the universal coverage in health. The story is, however, changing with the present government's revitalization of primary health care centers, a development that no doubt is impacting positively to those concerned.
Kudos to the government, and it's a happy thing for mothers that are residing here, because you don't need to stress yourself. You just walk up to the health clinic and take the immunization.
To complement government's effort in that regard, the group of women under the auspices of Ngumbise Women reach out to some health centers across the country, with Abuja being the city recently visited.
It's not all the organizations will, provide things and helps like this.
This is part of our corporate social responsibility, and our women have always done this.
To reciprocate the gesture by doing well in whatever they do.
For the women, the gesture is to awaken the spirit of humanitarian services and the pursuit in human development.
We levied ourselves in order to buy these drugs, and I feel that Ngumbise Women in Abuja that we have really achieved to reach to the less privileged.
We've been trying to come up with this for a very long time, but it's not really been easy. But for the fact that we're able to accomplish it today, of course, we are all full of joy.
The women are hopeful for more developmental efforts like this to better their loads. That is NTA News.
The prospects of the agro-industry and agri-business sector in Nigeria are getting brighter with the inauguration of an implementation office in Owerri, Imo State. Musa Abubakar reports that the office manned by the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is part of the federal government's policy on diversifying the economy by exploring opportunities in the non-oil sector.
The Nigeria Agribusiness and Agro-industry Development Initiative is developed by the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to harness the huge potential in the non-oil sector with a view to diversify revenue base for the growth and development of the country. Now, this office commission is to mobilize stakeholders in all the commodities to participate actively in order to reap the benefit of the program.
This, no doubt, will unlock the latent value in agricultural commodities for high premium prices at the international market, which will also enhance dynamism, competitiveness, and profitability of non-oil sector with a view to attracting significant domestic and foreign investment into Nigeria.
This is exactly what the states and the federal government needs to facilitate activities so that individuals of Nigeria will find their level in developing agriculture.
Just only have fed us 50 times of what we get from food oil.
The scope of the initiative focuses on priority areas of agro-industry along the value chain as well as inspection services. From Owerri in Imo State, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
Critical stakeholders have commended the federal government for resuming exploration of hydrocarbon in Bauchi and Gombe states. Lydia Sampson reports that some Nigerians who spoke to NTA News said the gesture will provide employment opportunities for teeming youths in the country.
Nigeria is making history again as the federal government resumed exploration of oil in the Kolmani River 2 well. What is more historic is the engagement of an indigenous farm to handle the project. This is in line with the federal government's policy on local content development.
Local content is really working. As you can see, the rig standing here, we have only maybe 2 or 3 expatriates here, not like before. Before you put this rig here, you did 50%, 60, 70 has to be expatriates. Today we do it, most of the engineers on the rig here are all local content. They are all Nigerians.
Perhaps this necessitates the presence of an array of investors and critical stakeholders in the oil and gas industry at the flag of the drilling.
This development really marks the economic liberation of the state, economic liberation of the north, and the economic liberation of the country in general.
A very, very, very unique day for us, for the side of this country, and particularly this community and Nigeria as a whole. This marks the beginning of prosperity of this area.
They say President Buhari has written his name in gold with the resumption of this project.
And also lead to job creation.
It gives us hope, that the future is brighter for oil and gas sector of this country.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, for the political will to make this project a reality.
They are optimistic that crude oil will be discovered in commercial quantity in the Kolmani River 2 well. From Al-Kalari local government area of Bauchi State, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And still on the matter, excitement and optimism best describe the atmosphere at the flag off of drilling for hydrocarbon by President Muhammadu Buhari for residents of villages around the drilling site. It's simply overwhelming that from hitherto being a quiet farming community, they are taking the national center stage. Lydia Sampson tells us more.
Prospecting for hydrocarbon fields come with increased activities that help identify the degree of accumulation of the commodity, leading to drilling. For residents of villages around the drilling site, the project will put the area on the map of oil-producing communities. Barambo village is in Al-Kalari local government area of Bauchi State. And the people here say they're very happy that government has made this discovery and it's right at their doorsteps. But they are hoping that they will also be carried along so that the narrative of their lives and their children will change for the better. 45-year-old Aisha Adamu, like any mother, wants a better life for her children. She says with activities ongoing at the drilling site, her dream might just be about to come true. Barambu is one of the villages surrounding the Kolmani River well too, and for district head of Barambu, the discovery is a welcome development in view of the significant role hydrocarbon plays in the nation's economy.
I am happy because this will boost the nation's economy.
Experts, however, say it will take 60 days of drilling of any well to ascertain the volume of hydrocarbon.
The whole idea and concept is that as a nation that is already producing hydrocarbons, it needs to sustain this production. And if it needs to sustain this production as a diminishing or reserves that you cannot replenish, we have to look for more reserves.
What we have seen so far from the data we have acquired looks promising. There is gas already, as established by Shell before us.
For now, Kolmani River Well 2 is agog, and Aisha Adamu, a resident of Barambu for 34 years now, might just be right to say their lives may never be the same again. From Barambu in Alkaleri local government area of Bauchi State, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Thank you, Lydia. Well, Chinyere is standing by in Enugu for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Ogwa, and welcome to Enugu Network Center. The recent directive by the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, on pothole-free federal highways across the nation, motorists have applauded the efforts of the present administration in ensuring safety on the highways. Shegono Aro completes the reports.
The Controller, Federal Minister of Works, Enugu, Femi Onyekomi, went round the highways to feel the pulse of motorists and commuters on the pothole-free highways.
I'm very, very grateful for local federal government for the road they do in our Four Corners Express.
No, the pothole have been filled now because as last 4-3 months back, we cannot be able to pass this place. At times we used to stay more than 2 days because of the bad road. Some motorists used to fall down, some used to break down. But now we are passing successfully.
It's better now than before.
This is the popular Four Corner Junction on the Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway. We are here to feel the pulse of commuters and motorists. And here with me is the Federal Controller of Works, Enugu State.
There are some sections of the road that were riddled with potholes that were outside the contractor's program of works. By December, the minister gave a marching order that all network of roads, especially the major arterials in the country, should be free from potholes.
Highways of Enugu-Onitsha, Enugu-Port Harcourt, and 9th Mile Makurdi received intervention on the Enugu-Port Harcourt Highway. Contractors handling the stretch explained how they were able to meet up with the directive.
We get the directives and the instruction. We mobilize our workers, equipment, material, to repair all these potholes. As you can see, the drivers and all these people, they can move freely on this route.
You can say in the fact that commuters and motorists had this road during the Christmas period because the Federal Minister of Works and the contractors heeded to the call of the Federal Minister for Works. I am Chiagono Aro, NTA News.
Security chiefs in Enugu State have assured the people of adequate security of lives and property during the election for peaceful, smooth, and credible polls. This came to fore at a meeting of the General Officer commanding 82 Division, Nigerian Army, the Director General National Youth Service Corps, and the Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command. Ijoma Ugweke has the details.
The General Officer commanding 82 Division, represented by the Chief of Staff, Brigadier General Kenneth Mosu, who received the Director General NYSC, said the division and other sister security agencies are working hard to ensure adequate safety of all who will be participating in the election. The GOC stated that security numbers will be issued out to alert security agents in case of any problem.
In respect of the 2019 general elections and the deployment of the corps, I want to assure you that the division will do all within its powers to ensure the safety of the corps.
The Director General, NYSC, reminded the GOC that core members are used as ad hoc staff by INEC during elections, and there is the need to protect them adequately, hence the meeting.
Core members, they are part of the electoral process. They take part as INEC ad hoc staff. So we are here to solicit to ensure the safety of our core members during the exercise.
As security agents, we have a very, very important role to play. Even though some of the political gladiators start accusing us of saying we are taking side, but I'm using this weekend to tell everybody that as an institution saddled with the responsibility of law enforcement, we are conscious of our constitutional responsibilities.
He warned troublemakers to desist from acts capable of putting them behind bars. In Enugu, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Every journalist uses one sophisticated phone or the other, but while many use theirs mainly for calls and social interactions, NTA reporters across the country are being drilled on how to use the various platforms available to cover the 2019 general elections. James Oparekosha reports.
Broadcasting has shifted from the normal traditional ways of television with cameras to getting information disseminated direct from the field. This is the core of the message here in this two-day workshop organized by NTA headquarters for their reporters from Enugu and Port Harcourt network centers in readiness for the 2019 general elections. Let's talk to some of the participants and feel their pulse about how this workshop has been going.
Yeah, it has been 2 days of packed training for the participants. We have learnt a lot, especially the use of modern technology and gadgets to disseminate information concerning the forthcoming general elections.
I have learned so much from the workshop, apart from the issue of using modern technology to report just at your fingertips. I also learned that there's a paradigm shift from personality-based reportage to issue-based reportage, which will enhance productivity in our various stations.
We have with us here one of the resource persons from headquarters in charge of ICT, Mr. Innocent Kuli. Innocent, how would you rate these participants here?
Well, I think the enthusiasm is quite encouraging. It's quite different from what we see from the headquarters, I have to be sincere. So there's this zeal. The reporters, from what they have learned, they have this zeal to make a difference. I believe they would really, really make a difference in reportage going forward.
Thank you very much. The outcome of this, no doubt, is expected to be a very wonderful 2019 coverage of the elections. Back to the studio.
Thank you, James. And that's our contribution from Enugu. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this time out.
Manager people, make we make the right choice, yo. Make we vote for a man of integrity. Hey, and so make we gather together and make this change. Work, my people of Nigeria. Together we go carry Nigeria to the next level. Nigeria don't decide. Vote Baba Buhari. Baba Buhari, the man of integrity. Hey, vote Baba Buhari. Man, we no corrupt, we no go chop our money. Hey, agriculture, the next level. Fight corruption, the next level. Good roads, to the next level. Electricity, to the next level. Railway, the next level. Empower, the next level. Money. For good health we go. Baba Buhari. My people, for the next level. ABC, next level. Naija people, make we all come out to vote Baba Buhari.
This message is from Buhari Next Level Group.
NTA TV College regret to announce the postponement of the College 2 short courses, Camera Operations Techniques, and Photojournalism Photography, earlier scheduled for 4th February to 1st March 2019 and 4th to 29th March 2019, respectively. A new date will be communicated to the public as soon as the general elections are over. All inconveniences caused by this postponement is regretted. Please, for further inquiries, please contact us on 0803 314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Thank you for staying tuned. The Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt has granted the application for stay of execution of the judgment of a federal high court delisting APC candidates from contesting the 2019 general elections. Justice Mohammed Mustafa delivered the ruling on Monday. Justice Mustafa ruled that INEC must not act on the earlier judgment pending the determination of the substantive case before it. And Muslim women have been charged to uphold the teachings of Islam, especially in their mode of dressing. This was emphasized by guest speakers and dignitaries, including wife of the former Vice President Hajia Amina Namadi Sambo, at the 6th World Hijab Day lecture in Abuja. Hakimat Aliu has details of this and other activities held to mark the day.
Wearing the hijab is said to be an act of obedience to God by Muslim women around the world who wear it as part of their faith. For 6 consecutive years now, the Coalition of Nigerian Muslim Women have been holding lectures as part of activities to mark the World Hijab Day.
Nigeria is a multicultural and multi-religious society. If you're a non-Muslim, whatever the dictates of your religion says you should do, please go ahead and do it. So we that are Muslims, if our religion says this is what we should do, we should be allowed to do it. And nobody has the right to actually prevent us from appearing the way our religion says we should appear.
Any Muslim mu'mina is supposed to be in the hijab. I'm not wearing it because I love to be in it alone. I'm wearing it because I want to obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
The theme for 2019 World Hijab Day is #FreeInHijab. And to intensify awareness on this, members of the group were at the Millennium Park, Abuja, where they decorated Muslims and non-Muslims in hijab.
I was being enlightened that it's not a barbaric act, but it's for protection. I feel good looking different.
I looked at the mirror, but I think it's okay covering myself.
Ladies should imbibe in covering their head.
Allah said we should enter the religion completely. If you are a believer, you cannot choose this and leave this. So since it is Allah's directive that we should cover, Muslim women should obey.
The organizers had earlier held a press conference to seek further recognition and protection on the rights of a Muslim woman to practice the hijab as prescribed by Allah. Hakimat Ali, NTA News.
And now sports update with Kene Emagbodike.